My dear students, as you know that nowadays we are discussing about the employment interviews. So today we will discuss about different components of interviews. So let's talk on a different components of interviews. First of all, we have to discuss primary duties and responsibilities of business office supervisor. Here we are considering business office supervisor as an example. And in this example, we have to consider different important components which we need to consider in the employment interview. So, very first component is primary duties and responsibilities of business office supervisors. So, what are the major duties and responsibilities we are looking for business office supervisors? The first one, that business office supervisor need to plans, organizes and controls the billing, receiving and paying functions for the office. And that is very major duty and responsibility of business office supervisor because it comprised 25% of the total weightage of the employment interview. So this component would consider to be 25% of the total weightage of the major duties and responsibilities of business office supervisor in the organization. So in the second point, there is another very important duties and responsibility of business office supervisor is to reviews financial resources and collects delinquent accounts by direct contact or referral to collection agencies. And just see the percentage, it is the second highest percentage of the duties and responsibilities played by business office supervisor. Number three, we have another two duties which are third highest and the fourth highest. The third one is to prepares and distributes the payroll, establishes and maintain payroll record. So this is also very important responsibility of business office supervisor to prepare the payroll and establish the payroll record. So it comprises of 15% of the total duties and responsibilities played by business office supervisor. So at the number four, it is the fourth highest percentage of the total duties and responsibilities, and that is maintain flow of financial information with other departments. Whatever kind of the financial information within the organization, it is the responsibility of business office supervisor to maintain the flow of that information to the rest of the departments. So it comprises of 10% of the total allocated marks. So number five, it keeps current employees on new systems, methods, and equipments, and it comprises of 5% of the total marks. And number six is to perform HR functions in the absence of manager. If the HR manager is not there, then he can perform HR functions as well, specifically hiring, training, evaluating performance, and recommending salary increases. So it is the responsibility of him to increase the salary suggestions, etc., to the HR manager, and it comprises of 5% of the total allocated weightage of the duties and responsibilities of business office supervisor. And at number seven, it ensures compliance with government regulations and participates in audits as required. So this is also a responsibility, but it is not that common. It only comprises of 5% of the total mark because regulations and the government regulation and participates in audits is not that much common and frequently occurring in the organization. And then at number eight, it informs management of current financial position and effect of operation by preparing and analyzing various reports. So this is also important responsibility because it comprised of 10% of the total allocated weightage of duties and responsibilities of business office supervisor. So its responsibility is to inform management of the current financial position and effect of that different operations on the different kind of a financial aspects of the organization. And at the number nine, its major duty and responsibility is revises policies and procedures relevant to the business office function, and that responsibility would comprise of 5% of total allocated marks. So whenever you have to conduct an interview of business office supervisor, then you have to keep such kind of weightage in mind. Then you have to keep these important duties and responsibilities in mind, and you have to match their duties and responsibilities and his or her responses in the employment interview with the overall functions of business office supervisor in the organization. So you can make the that kind of interview more effective and more efficient, because you are matching the performance of the person against the set criteria of duties and responsibilities within the organization. So this is an important bits and pieces in the employment interview. Similarly, instead of a business office supervisor, it is your responsibility as a future HR manager to establish such kind of duties and responsibilities for the interviewing purposes, and you have to match the duties and responsibilities with the person's current skills and abilities and knowledge.